Buddy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever in the world is you're coming to us from. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. Glad to be back in front of the camera hosting another episode of DYOR Live. This is where I would normally say, welcome to Pedro and point to him, but I've got my system a little messed up here. Pedro is in the house, but his camera is just not on this screen. Ladies and gentlemen, Pedro Garcia.
Hey guys, how you doing today? It's good to see you guys. It's my bad. Actually, it's not even Tom's mistake. It's my mistake. I was actually trying to give you guys a little inside push into the market with what's actually going to happen with the FOMC and the charts. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick little just like kind of inside sneak peek of what I'm looking at. And basically, there's this
Hey, wait, hold
website.
on, Pedro, hold on. There's no just getting right into it here in this show.
Oh yeah, we got.
Pedro,
How you doing, Tom?
Good, Pedro.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you took over the stream yesterday for me while I was driving through the middle of absolute nowhere with 3G, 2G, and no G signals for a long time. But that's the first time I've ever opened a show from the passenger seat of a car, though. So at least I wasn't even planning on doing that. It just worked out that way. But anyway, the show went well. You got a lot of alpha out there. That was really good. Thank you for that. And Pedro, did you recover from the show yesterday? Was it all stress because you were the man there, or does it just remind you of your 8-hour mega streams you used to do?
Yeah, it was very much reminding me of just how to do it. It's at first it was a bit. I forgot that certain things have to be kind of get covered when you're kind of running the full show, right? And
Yeah.
so it was really interesting. I kept forgetting, and but honestly, I like it. I mean, honestly, it kind of made me think to start doing my own a little by myself again, so I can kind of refine those skills because it's it's a skill that you should have, right? You should be able to be on your own and be able to do all the nuances at the same time, right? Of doing what you normally would do. So it's I don't know. It was very interesting and fun at the same time.
Meme, thanks for joining us. And he comes right out, starts shilling Pear.
There he
Pear,
is.
LFG, let's go. Thank you for the watching us on X. Really appreciate it, Meme. And you've officially won the first shill award. Maybe someone else dropped someone in here earlier, but I didn't see it. So thank you for joining us, everybody. And of course, Pedro, I'm going to drop a little comments into everyone's chat here. Let everybody know what they're supposed to do with the social media.
Absolutely. So guys, if you guys don't mind doing me a quick favor, please hit that like, subscribe, and share button. That'd be greatly appreciated. It will also help us in general get our name out and really kind of push things through. So it's actually really nice. And additionally to that, if you don't mind, oh, dang it. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, can you see me?
Yes, you're frozen. Your phone must have rung or something like that.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. So,
and I gotta tell you, the image is not that nice.
It's okay.
I caught you in what I call the politician photo, where they go through a video and find you scrunching your nose and smashing your chin, and then they take that one and play the ominous music like, did you see what he voted for?
Yeah, it's all good. Sometimes that's going to happen.
So everybody, bring your community. If you're watching here and you've got a community that we didn't post our show in, take the link and go drop it in your TG and have your community show up, and we'll look at your project or shout you out, something like that. Get you some free video to use on social media, that's for sure. Because right now we don't put any copyright on this shit. If you want to use it to promote your project, go ahead. Of course, we're only going to talk about things that we won't mind in social media. So bring your community here, raid the chat, and we will review.
Definitely. All right, guys. So please, if you guys don't mind doing us a quick favor, please hit that like, subscribe, and share button to your preferred media outlets. In particular, we do appreciate the sharing of the Google platform as well as the Elon Musk platform and Mr. Zuckerberg's platform. We do bring you guys real content with real stuff. I talk about real things. Same thing here with Tom. And because of that, as I've been letting everybody know, our overlords and masters, who will soon be our taskmasters, do push us down on the media platforms. And so because they do that, it will not allow the algorithm to take advantage to get our information out. So if you guys could please do us a huge favor, please hit that share, that like button. And if you would like to throw some cash our way, we're not going to stop you. But either way, we're still going to bring you some great content with real stories and talking about real situations that are going to either move the market or keep it stagnant. So either whether it goes down, up, or sideways, you guys will know what's going on with the current and latest news while we're there. All
Speaking
right,
of
that's
the
about
current
it.
and latest news, nobody's in the audience here with any pagers. We don't want any, don't want anything to explode.
Dude.
Or
Oh, snaps.
or let's see, where was that other one? Leave your pagers. And then Charles says, or your handheld radios as well.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not to bring individual names into this for the algorithm to debunk, but I mean,
Yes, please
talk
don't.
about when I posted in the Telegram room yesterday. I said always be wary of an adversary who's willing to play the long game, the really long game. And people talk about certain bad guys playing the long game, or certain economic powerhouses over in Asia playing the long game. But these actors, these guys, they played the long game and corrupted a whole supply chain to do some awful things. But I gotta tell you,
Brilliant.
it's literally
Brilliant.
stuff from James Bond movies, and it's
Brilliant.
I know, and how horrible it is because of the horrible mess that's going on there. Just people, going back and forth with each other.
Yeah.
But the fact that something so brilliant that it's like $1 billion, Dr.
Right.
Evil,
Yeah.
you just got to sit there and be amazed.
Uh,
Tim
when-
Oliver, thanks for joining the show. I really appreciate it.
What's up, Tim
Crypto
Oliver?
Mike saying, Sage, I'll see if I can get them here. Make sure if you bring a new group in, we got to have a contract address because we can't spend all of our time looking for it. Daza number 1 here says Pepe, but it's a pair. LFG, let's go, baby. Gotta LFG like that. But anyway, Pedro, while we're getting some things done here and bringing the crowd in, why don't you kick it off with the old BTC review and what's going on, or shall I say what's not going on today because of the Fed meeting coming up later.
Absolutely.
Giant.
Right now, the S&P 500 is just kind of consolidating between up and down in a position, and so this is an amalgamation of the top 10. This won't allow me to do it. This is the top 10 movement of the market. So one of the things that I like to look at is just simply what's actually happening in the market at large with the top 10 macro stocks. And so you can see here, we've just kind of been going sideways here now for almost 4 months. You can see it, we've been playing in between this state.
Wait, what chart do you have up there?
No, this is the top 10 by micro cap stocks of the S&P 500, and I'm using this as an example today so that you can understand what's happening overall.
I will take the Bitcoin logo down, which I had.
No. Keep the Bitcoin on because I'm going to quickly move back, but I wanted to show you this so you can understand what I'm expecting with Bitcoin. So you can see here that we've been above that 8-period moving average, but we've been kind of just going sideways, playing off of this 189 moving averages. You can see this now every time, boom, every time we come to tap it, and this has been going on for about since May. So it's really important to be paying attention to that. Now let's look at BTC here real quick now. Boom. Now I'm going to point out something similar that we see with BTC as well. Okay, so you can see here, this is ETH and BTC, and you can see how we've been playing off of that 189 as well, but we've been in this range. It's almost kind of inverse. So I'm going to change this range up here real quick. We're actually going to do this here. I'm going to play this primary, say right here. It's
Crypto Mike, I think you might have a new name for Chuck Jansen. Instead of Doc, his last name is J. And for you older people that know the NBA, There is a Dr.
Oh,
J.
there is a Dr. J.
I think we've got a new name for Chuck Jansen. Dr. J.
I do think so as well.
I'm going to have to get a sound effect of a slam dunk or something like that.
Oh, you're gonna have to. That's a definite. Okay, so this thing is being a pain because it was working. Like I've been trying to pull this. Why isn't this
Ms.
working?
Pixel, good morning. Thanks for joining us on Elon Musk's platform. Really appreciate.
Mm-hmm. BTC.
Welcome everyone that's joining us over on that platform. Please comment, share, like, follow. Just do it. Remember to click if you're watching this in your feed. Click through the link to get to the broadcast screen. Open it up another tab, another window, whatever. And you can comment and join the discussion here.
I guess they've taken it away now. That's another thing that they've taken away. Dude, this company really sucks. They're just nickel and diamond people now.
Trading View is driving Pedro crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Roland Rod, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Okay. Well, it was just working and now it's not. So whatever. All right, let's check this out here real quick. We can see here that the market has definitely been kind of consolidating right here, like what we were seeing with the S&P 500. Okay, and this FOMC is kind of a strategic movement that they've talked about it, right, almost for a month now, where it's just like, okay, we're going to lower rates, but how much, right? Are we going to go? Some traders think that they're going to keep it very shy and keep it just at 25 basis points. Right. Some other people think they're going 50, and I've heard other people talk about potentially by next year 125 basis points. We've been doing 25 cents every month, right? Potentially over the 6-month period, and or maybe 50. So it's a huge indication to show us is the market, which they've been telling us that it is very strong and very bullish, that what's going to happen and things are going really well and don't worry about it, right? And now they're backtracking and saying, hey,
all we do is worry about this.
Yeah, exactly. And now they're saying, okay, we are seeing a slowdown in the economy. We need to figure out a way to jumpstart maybe some jobs here. So that's why they're lowering the rate. So a lot of talking heads about it. I don't know all the details when it comes to the fundamental, but I do know, and by me looking at Bitcoin, right, and us playing, we went over this yesterday, right, that every time we had it going down, we saw that the market was coming up in volume, and every time we saw the market going up, we saw a decrease in volume, right? It was pretty clear. I went over it almost ad nauseum, right, with you guys over this stuff yesterday. Right, and it stems to back right in this level here. This is when this is where we stopped seeing it back in March. It's been about 3 months now. Wait, March, June, July, August, September. Excuse me, 6 months. And so, in that same sense, you can see here as I'm looking at this market move, and this is really important for us to be looking at. Today, we're seeing an increase in the seller volume, which personally I think that they want to push it down. Right, we went down Monday. Then we went up on Tuesday. And so I think what they're trying to do is I think they're trying to push Bitcoin even further down into these levels of like, and I've talked about this. Now that's that. So sorry, I forgot I was on the, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's ETH and Bitcoin. What we were just looking at the other chart, you can see here that it's the same thing, right? That this market has been basically doing the same thing with BTC. And so I'm expecting to see this really come down into this 57,123 area. I believe even though we're seeing an inverse relationship between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin right now, I think this is going to start maybe a correlation aspect of literally them doing this type of thing where all of a sudden, yeah, exactly. One will go down, the other one will go down. So it's one of those things I think it's super important to be looking at. Walk like an Egyptian.
I started a poll, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not watching your screen, turn to the chat section here on the YouTube stream and answer the question about what do you think the rate cut is going to be today. Moderate at 0.25 basis point or 25 basis points, which is a basis point is just 1/100th of a point.
Absolutely.
50% I should say 50%, 0.5% cut.
Yeah.
0.75. If that happens, Jesus is going to rise. Speaking of, where is he today?
He hit me up yesterday. So speaking of Jesus,
And hold
our
on,
Lord
I
and
got
Savior.
one more option. A whole full point cut. If that happens, then we just skip right by Jesus rising and right up to the pearly gates to go see the big guy himself. And BTC goes to $13 million or something like that.
Because the rest of the world will be falling apart. I don't see that happening. So Jesus yesterday, we were talking about which one did it was Baby Doge, right? Baby.
Oh yeah, Baby Doge got listed on Binance, didn't they?
Yeah. So he hit me up and he goes, dude, it did exactly what you said it was going to do. And I said to him, I said, here's the thing. And so I took a screenshot and I said, we're coming up right into our level here. Do not go long. And there's not, I love him to death, but he went long.
Behind that, the chart's behind me and you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and post this here.
So he didn't go long before it blasted up?
No, he didn't. And I told them, like, all right, guys, either go long until we hit here or wait for it to come back down. Right. And sure enough, man, he hit me up later last night and said, dude, look, did exactly it. And I said, but we're right at our level here. Don't play. Like, we're going to hit this level, even though it's just listed. Remember, the institutions are involved in this stuff now. Institutions are trading meme coins. Institutions, I mean, I know this sounds like, what? Why would they? Because you never know what is going to turn. And listen, Mr. Fink of BlackRock CEO is bullish on Bitcoin and as well as things that could potentially turn into Bitcoin. He realized he messed up. No cut.
That's a big one, Troublesome. I think that the market would flip right out.
Yeah. So, yeah, if it was no cut, I think we potentially could see another sell-off. With a cut, we could see the market push up. So it's just one of those things. I think could be an interesting situation. And also, there's a lot of mixed views in the market that is real. Like, from a trader standpoint, when we're going to look at the bonds here and the yields and actually how they're interchanging between the actual charts. And I think it's really important to be paying attention to this, because as the market starts to heat, I'm talking with my hands again, sorry. It's so hard not to talk with their hands, right? Like, especially if you're like,
no,
hey,
it's not.
how you doing?
Just hold your mouse and hold a fidget toy and you won't talk with your hands.
Let's try that. I'm actually going to try that. All right. So as the market starts to move in a direction, we're going to see everything that is potentially that the institutions are playing with, that we're going to see that play happen. So again, Baby Doge, anything that's listed on any major exchange, right, in crypto, expect it to trade like institution.
The Cryptonaut. Thank you for joining us all the way from the great part of the world called Europe.
Absolutely.
I think that's fair, unless you're in Singapore like everybody else for tokens 2049. Thanks for joining us, pumping the Infineon.
Yeah, but also I want to shout out to the people over on Elon Musk's platform. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Look, I want to ask you guys to do us a quick favor. Please hit some comments in the comment section over there. That really helps us out quite a bit. We're trying to build that up right now over at Elon Musk platform. The reason why we don't say it is because we stream on multiple platforms, and if we say the actual name of the platform, again, we get derated on many on many of these platforms. That's why we're trying to use the owners of those platforms. So that's why we're doing that. So please make some comments. Please hit the share button. Please hit the just hit the share button and make a couple comments and let us know, because that does help the algorithm and help us keep our show going. So I want to again talk about Baby Doge. Baby Doge, like many of you guys, we can see how we talked about this at the end of the show yesterday. We hit the sell-off here and now we're coming down. All right, so the poor Jesus is our savior. Oh, what was it? What's his name? What does it go by? Jesus. Oh, Jesus, the Lord and Savior.
Yes, a good viewer, not the actual one, but a loyal viewer.
Yeah, I think he watches our stuff. The other one and only. But maybe one day he'll be like, dude, you were a little too much. And I'll be like, Sorry, bro. My bad. Um, but you like you might have to spend some time over with Judas over there.
I don't know where you went with that one, Pedro.
No, excuse me, Thomas, not Judas, Thomas. I was just playing around. Okay, jumping back to the charts here. So Bitcoin, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing that we're just kind of playing in between the 8 period as well as that 100 period. And so we're kind of ping-ponging off of this. I'm expecting us to see some sell off though, because while we're seeing certain things happen, we've come up, we're tapping kind of into the area on the week, monthly, as well as the weekly. So this weekly here, we're sitting at this level. Let me move this here. This level here has been playing back and forth. So I think this is going to come down here. I think this area right here is going to come down to us and allow us to be able to really see a sell-off. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Now, let's go ahead and hit this here real quick. All right. I want to jump into the yields here. So we're watching the yields here starting to do some pretty big selling off. Okay, they've been prepping for it to see how far they're going to go. You can check the 30-year yield as a trading. We saw a little bounce at our level here, but look, this thing is literally starting to sell off through. So I'm definitely very bearish on yields. Yields from a standpoint of where is it going to go, I think potentially, and this is no joke. Okay, 1 2 1. We could see some fighting in between right here, and this is crazy. This is 30-year. Okay, it's our 30-year yield. Okay, U.S. This is what determines like most people's interest rates on their houses. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Chuck Jansen, and another awesome show. Appreciate the education, entertainment. Make sure to share the live, comment, thumbs up, hit those hearts. Infineon is coming, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you get my mouth to move and say your project name. Chuck, you're an expert at that. Thank you very much, Chuck. As I always like to say, all of the super chats that come here go to help Pedro and I drink as much beer as possible in the shortest amount of time. No, it goes to bettering this show and furthering the goals of getting good edutainment to you guys in the crypto industry. So thank you very much, Chuck Jansen. Oh, speaking of, you summoned the Lord and Savior. Shows up. Just like that, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus, the Lord and Savior.
What's up? That's what I'm saying. The Lord, Jesus,
I was wondering
the Lord
if you were going to see
Savior.
that one, Jesus, because I put that one on there for you. So I made him bet the 0.75 because I put it, Jesus rises on it. But as he always likes to say, good morning, Chumbalones and Chumbolinas. For all of you Chumbalones out there, for those of you that are new, that's a Chicago word in which a mafia guy was testifying about all the people they take advantage of, the regular people out there, the Chumbalones.
The Chumbalones.
And then somebody from the city used it, talking about the taxpayers, and then the newspaper writers took it over and just started the lore of it. And so now I use it to describe all of us that get beat up in crypto. Yeah. Matt Rhodes is continuing the Infineon charge here. Somebody drop some news about Infineon in there. Type something up, drop it in. How's that going? Yeah, pre-sale going? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm looking to do the launch of that, man. I'm really looking for to do the TA on the launch and see what's going on with all when that new chart when it pops up, man. That's going to be fun because it's such a big community that I think it's going to be easy to chart that thing. Seeing a pump and going back and forth. I'm really looking forward to looking at kind of and this is the other thing. I want to do a live stream of it so we can sit there and play off of the movements of that market as it starts to, whether if it explodes or if we see some smart, chart movement, right? Up and down, higher highs, higher lows. And so I'm looking forward to that. Let's check out here real quick, the 30-year loan here, real quick as we move forward. You can see
while we're doing this, just to make sure we stay on topic today, why is this important to what Powell is talking about later in the rates? Let's link these two so everyone gets why we're talking about it.
Okay, good point. So the bonds and the yields. So interest rates determine the amount of money you either have to pay on a loan or you, thank you, nigger.
No, I was
Hey,
trying to
bro.
throw up. Jesus was saying that I was throwing up gang signs, and the only
Oh,
gang sign I was throwing up was the "I'm going to shoot myself" thing gang sign, or "Please kill me, I'm white, standing on the street corner." That's the only one. That's the only sign that this said.
oh, that's
I mean, I
good.
can sell 400 marches at market, but that's a different sign.
Mm-hmm.
Chrono Vanda Smook. Chronos Vanda Smook. Infineon presale live, almost 70K filled. This unique blockchain is worth a show, sirs. I had the guys on a while ago
Yeah, we did.
talking
Yeah,
about
we
it.
did.
Got a lot of views out of that one too. And I'm sure after we get a launch going here, we'll have them back on to talk about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. These guys are going to rock it. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. Shout out over to X, man. I don't know who you guys are, but thank you for coming and viewing us. And see, we're already at 104 views, and we appreciate that. And so if you guys could do us a favor, hit that share button, that like button. That really does help us quite a bit. We're trying to bring you guys real content with real information and have you guys really be able to see the market at large and why it's important. So right now we're looking at the yield. The reason why the yields are important. Now there are different types of yields for different types of bonds. Bonds are bonds are the things that raise money for our treasury, the US Treasury. Okay, so what the Treasury does is the Treasury will sell bonds to raise money for the US government. You remember in Captain America when they were trying to sell bonds for the war effort? Remember
Yep.
in for World War II?
Yep.
And what was Captain America's whole entire plot? Let's go in and sell bonds so he can get money to help fund the war in World War II. Bonds is what makes money for America. Now, the other part behind it is there's a yield that correlates. So if you give the US government $100,000, they're going to give you a yield, a percentage of money that then that percentage of money is what we call the yield. That is based off of what we look at and what they set. So if I give the US government, let's say $100,000 and they give me percentage of a 3.98 percentage on this day, okay, what happens is off of that $100,000, I'm going to get $3,989 at the end of the year. And based off maybe where you're at in the United States, it will either be taxable or non-taxable, right? All depends on what you want to do. So that's in a nutshell why it's important, because that interest rate is about to get talked to today by the Fed. Now, the Fed is what governs. Now, the Fed is a separate entity. That entity is a private company, even though it is called the Federal Reserve. It has nothing to do with our government. It is a private entity that, and this is kind of crazy, creates money and sets the interest rates of that money. And a lot of the people who fill up that organization are the top banks in America. Yet they are a separate entity.
Fox guarding the chicken coop.
That is a great analogy. So this is really important for us to sit there and see what's actually happening in the market. So
All right,
now,
Pedro, let's quickly get a news bite in here real quick. One of the
yes, sir,
things
let's
that
get it
I
in.
wanted to talk about in between all of the things we got going on now is, first of all, the first one Pedro already hit, where Bitcoin was holding out as people wait for what they think is a 50 basis point cut. Some people are talking 0.75. I think that would be catastrophic to do it so quickly. Frankly, with the market saying, 0.25 is conservative, 0.5 is over. They won't, but if they could do like a 0.33 change, that would be good. But the more important thing I want to talk about is back on the Bitcoin thing. We talked about El Salvador a few weeks ago. educating all 80,000 of their government employees in Bitcoin, actually putting on a class for them so they can get certified in using Bitcoin and how to manage it and its policies and all that. And if for those of you who've never worked in government, every government job just about everywhere, except in real shit countries of the world, is a job that's authorized by law, rule, or regulation. And so the people have to operate within that. And in order to operate within that, you have to be, have some kind of certification or education and, yada, yada, yada to do that. And so El Salvador said, all right, we made this big investment. Now we're going to educate all of our people. Started already doing that. Now they come out and just say, everything's going so well now, we're not going to issue any debt. And that is a first for almost every country in the world right now. I know there's some countries that don't operate on debt because they are net exporters, like a lot of the countries in the Middle East and that type of stuff, of oil and things like that. They got plenty of cash money. But for the fractional banking countries of the world, in which their economy is separate from their government, they issue debt like the U.S. And El Salvador said, nope. President Bukele, however you want to pronounce it, would present a self-financed budget to the legislator, meaning they will not issue debt for its operations 2025. And I think the article says it's never happened in El Salvador's history. And it wouldn't even pay for debt interest by issuing more debt during the period. They'd pay all the debt interest they owe with cash from basically operations and taxation of their government. He said, we've become quite frugal, and we've also made our credit rating much better, so they can operate in the financial markets. That doesn't necessarily mean they have to borrow money. If your credit rating is better and you have a better reputation in the credit market, you get to have access to just more types of financing, more types of doing stuff with money that are just less expensive. He fought the criminal gangs, attracted business, over 1.6 billion in private investments, and is also keeping inflation in check down. So it's a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing a good job down there. The first good news out of El Salvador, probably in its 50-year history, however long it's been going on down there. But I thought I'd bring that up so all of you would keep an eye on it, because the more that they do things well, the more that other countries want to emulate them, like as we talk about Argentina doing that a lot.
Argentina is quite a bit now. I mean,
you're right, and frankly, once the leadership changes in Turkey, I would be willing to bet that they're going to do something similar as well. You can see probably a couple African countries do similar things. I wouldn't be surprised. Our friend, where's our friend Royal Q?
Yeah, he's
from
been
Zimbabwe. Talk about they're operating on stable coins already over there. Never mind their local fiat. So these are all good things. I just wanted to bring the El Salvador story back to the forefront here, and hopefully I can get the El Salvador ambassador to Canada on the show to talk about that. That would be good. Got an ask out to them, Pedro, so we'll see if they bite. Anyway, I thought I'd talk about that briefly.
Well, I almost want to add on to that. I mean, the fact is that they are such a small company or country, and they're running it like a company in a sense, right? Where it's like, look, we've got to handle this. And how they're handling, whether you like how they're doing it or not, they've come down hard on a lot of the crime in that nation. And they really, it was bad. MS-13 was basically running the streets, and it's so interesting now that it's literally, within a year or two, they flipped their whole entire society, and now money's being brought into them saying, you know what, you guys are handling literally corporations are looking to get involved. How do we get involved? How do we run business through crypto so that we can basically get the tax breaks from you? And as people, I know multiple Americans have now moved down to, and companies moved down to El Salvador, literally because they're running it like a business, and they're just not playing around. And I cannot not see Africa, sooner or later, the people in many countries in Africa that are basically just being just decimated by the government. You're just going to sit there and be like, look, we're done with it. Look what El Salvador are doing. Look what not Venezuela. Why am I forgetting it? Argentina. Um, Argentina is already now starting to blow up. They're already starting to rebound. It's absolutely insanity that why we're a small country. Why don't we do that? You know, and I mean, a lot of African countries are very much crypto oriented. A lot of the lower class, when I say lower class, I mean like financially, they're not as high net worth, but they are very much akin and understand the blockchain and how to move things around. So it's just a matter of time before that happens. I mean, it's insanity to sit there and not think that if I'm a small country, why wouldn't I do that?
And to think of, 15 years ago, some dude or group, whomever named Satoshi, just came up with this thing, not knowing how grand it would be, not knowing how it would spread. I mean, you had no idea if it was going to spread or not past the nerds. And all of a sudden, countries are changing their whole financial outlook on it. Before there was no avenue for other countries to have a proper, to have a good currency. They had to manage it themselves, or just peg themselves to the U.S. dollar, which has its other issues. They have to, they have to make sure that they have to abide by like every single U.S. financial regulation in order to do that and to ensure that the currency is good. But now they can just throw stablecoins into it, Bitcoin, stablecoin, and those markets are large enough because the smartest people on the planet, I believe, well, the smartest people on the planet are in the defense industry, figuring out how to kill people. The second smartest people are the currency traders. They're so fast and efficient, and there's such big money in that little countries have no chance against them. As soon as you show the slightest bit of weakness,
boom,
they smash your currency, and make you pay for your errors. And that's good. That's a good thing. It keeps the market legit. It keeps currencies
efficient.
Legitimate. But it sucks a lot of money out of those countries and wastes a lot of reserves having to defend against currency traders. Now, if they can bring Bitcoin or USDT into their mix, they don't have to spend so much time worrying about their own fiat, because their fiat is kind of, we'll say, hedged with a much larger pool of money that the Forex traders can't manipulate as much. And so it's just a good thing. It's a good thing. So I like to talk about El Salvador, Argentina, all that type of stuff as good things to come. Don't get me started on BRICS in those countries. That's not going to happen.
Oh, well, the thing is even BRICS, man. I mean, look, you can't not acknowledge the fact is that they are climbing in status.
Space, the final
Space Cat, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. I don't think they are, Pedro.
Well, here's the thing. It's not necessarily, I mean, the primary countries that are a part of it are the major producing countries. And for you not to acknowledge the fact is that it would just take you need two things to happen. And they are big things, but you would need two things to happen. You would need basically a bunch of people in China to get really pissed and remove certain people, which could happen. Okay. And then in addition to that, in another country, just basically to say we're no longer going to play these games with you and what you're doing, because we're seeing a lot of men leave that country because they don't want to be a part of certain aspects within that country. And it's the big bear country. So
we're trying to play the algorithm once again, ladies and gentlemen.
Play the algorithm. That's exactly what we're trying to do. And you would need And again, those things could happen. Even if one of those things was to happen, it would destabilize the other situation. And then all of a sudden, you have the UAE that becomes the dominant force of the BRICS nations. And they very much, I think, could very much run that and run it well. So you can't put that thing, I'm not disagreeing with you with saying like as of right now, but it wouldn't necessarily take much for it to not have stability. I'm just saying.
I think it would take a lot less corruption like minus 99% corruption. They've in all those countries, lying, cheating, and stealing is normal part of government business. And to think that they're going to all join together in one happy union and not try and steal, rug pull each other is ridiculous. In my mind, my personal opinion there. Anyway, let's try and power it up. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to the charts here. You like that?
Absolutely.
Sound effect there?
I did like that. All right, let's check out the 20-year yield. Actually, we'll stick to the 10-year.
I think we're done with yield.
Oh man, I love the yields though.
Nobody wants to hear about yields anymore.
All right, so let's check out a meme coin here.
Dr. Fire Chicken joins us from the Elon Musk platform. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. Helping the numbers over there as well.
Absolutely, really appreciate that. That's a huge situation. Thank you. So you guys can see here. Let's check out Shiba Inu, everybody's favorite love to hate coin, but want to buy in case if it ever moons again. You can see here that we're definitely been following that weekly 8-period moving average, and we saw the same thing, but now we're actually starting to see it consolidate more. So now we're going to start seeing almost like a spring as it starts to wound up. You're going to start seeing a spring that's happening, and either is it going to go down and shoot down and then widen out that movement again, or are we going to see an explosion up into our level here? Now, last week we talked about us coming up higher into this level. We almost touched it, right? Almost touched our short. We didn't get triggered in, but we did almost get close. We hit that 50-period moving average and we saw it come down. So I'm expecting it, if we do come down here, to kind of be able to come deeper into this zone here that I've drawn out and potentially come back down into that 1,100. But I'm expecting us to keep following this 8-period moving average on that weekly. So that week you want to be paying attention to. So every time we come and tap it, I want you guys to be a part of that, right? Take that short off of that. I'm expecting us to see a good, and if you're playing your futures, right, the perps, look, this is a good play to be playing. Take your smaller time frames, whatever trending system that you use. Many of you guys know I use the 8-period moving average, right? So whatever trending system that you use as your own significant movement, stick to that. So every time we hit a supply area, anytime we hit a what do you call it? What's ICTs? Fair value gap that you use, a bearish fair value gap or whatever, right? You want to be starting to get on that trend down because we're still going down here. So it's
Mike,
pretty
check
simple.
the TG room. I left you a note.
Yeah, guys. All right.
Crypto Mike.
That's it. That's it in a nutshell for that. We can go into another. Now, quick question. Are there I know we had somebody talking about there was another coin that you want me to check out.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking up Sage for Crypto Mike.
Yeah,
and I wanted to make sure before I sent it off to you, I wanted to make sure I had the right one.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, but while we're here, let's take another little quick story into the land. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the land of Richard Hart.
Richard Hart.
Finnish police seeking Hex founder Richard Hart for suspected gross tax evasion and assault, and for disappearing off the face of the earth when everyone's trying to find him. They believe Hart created, launched, and marketed his cryptocurrencies from Finland, not from somewhere else, which would make him owe much more tax. And so they're saying, even though he did file his taxes saying he made millions of dollars, they're saying that he made many more millions of dollars and failed to pay several €100 million worth of taxes in Finland. Let me let that sink in. He didn't make several €100 million. He did not pay several €100 million worth of taxes to Finland. I'm guessing, if there's any Finnish people out there, let me know. But I'm guessing the tax rate in Finland is not low. I'm guessing that it's anything above $7 or €7, you have to pay 50%, and then there's probably a super wealth tax that's even higher than that on it.
Wow.
And so I'm guessing he cleared, close to $1 billion, and they're wanting half of that, which is simply ridiculous for a government to say we want half of your money. It doesn't matter. I don't care how much money someone makes and how poor you are. You say, oh, stick it to the rich people. That's not right. It's not right to take that money from people. It's a disincentive to do anything. It's just an incentive to leave your country. However, if it is true, let's just think all of that money is exit liquidity from the hexagons and the pulse chain people that sacrificed. All of that is just exit liquidity.
Yeah.
And if you bring up you don't have to bring up the hex charts or anything like that. But
please, let's do.
All right, while you're, I'll turn this off. But interesting enough, his name is not Richard Hart. His name is Richard Schuler. I'm sure it's pronounced in Finnish differently, like Richard Schuler. Sorry, my Finnish is really bad. Or it's just pronounced Schuler. But he goes by Richard Hart, Richard Schuler. Probably a bunch of other names. Probably is bald and has no facial hair right now, so he can walk around wherever he wants.
And lost a ton of weight, I bet you. So that you could definitely.
Is this the hex chart?
Yeah, it's the hex chart. Dude, they've actually been pumping the last few days. And they're actually holding this 8-period moving average fairly good. They hit
the longer period there. Let's see where he got all his money from.
Wait, let me check. So it's hitting this.
Oh yeah, that's
hitting the 20-period moving average. They've got. It could pump here. It very much could pump.
It could pump, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from Pedro Garcia.
Yeah, like check this out here. You've got that 8-period moving average on the monthly here, okay? But let's look at their pump. All right, so this is when it launched. Okay, this was back in 2023. No, actually, this is the new chart. I think something happened, right? Let me pull up. I should be able to. Give me a second.
Well, in 2023, they launched Pulse Chain.
Yeah. Let's pull this up here.
Carmen Crypto in the house. Good morning, Chumbalones. Thanks for joining us. Carmen Crypto. Carmen, you just happened to catch us while we're talking about sacrificing for Pulse Chain. And
your favorite company.
Our good buddy Richard Hart, who is on the hook. The Finns say that he owes a couple more 100 million euros. And what we're saying is that was all exit liquidity from the sacrifice that he just did the right in his pocket. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Chuck says, oh, snap. Carmen is here. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get us some better music here going today, ladies and gents.
All right, guys. So check this out, dude. This is them here. I want to check this out here. It's really loud in the ears.
Yeah, I know it started loud. I'll turn it down.
Yeah, we are. Let's pull it. Dude, they are so bad. Dude, look at this. They can't even get above.
Carmen says, I totally avoided an SEC letter by helping with that Pulse Chain conference. Woo.
Good.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All the influencers that were pushing it got the letter from the old SEC saying, come on in and testify.
Wait, what happened?
All the influencers that were pushing Pulse Chain got letters from the SEC wanting to know who was paying them, all that type of stuff. Carmen can explain it better.
I would love to know.
A couple of her friends got letters for that. I mean, it was shady. I mean, these people were. I mean, it started with the Hex group. I mean, those guys were. They were shilling. No disclaimers, no nothing. Even the way they were disclaiming, they were going to say it's going to the moon. Nobody was responsible there. And of course, it turns out, they were incentivized to push the stuff without telling people and shit like that. Oops.
It's what happens, man. Be sure your sins will find you out, baby. Be sure. But here's the thing. All right. And I'll put it like this, man. I'll put it like this, though. I remember one time so there was this guy, his name was Sandstorm. It's when I first started getting into crypto and kind of started getting into, doing my own show, and I was becoming a leader of like Moonrock and stuff like that. So we went on to this guy's show, and the Hexicans were there. And so the guy's like talking about like us getting together down in Las Vegas and getting a strip bus and all this stuff. And I was like, these guys are nuts, dude, like absolutely nuts. And there's a clown guy, I forget the guy's name.
Joker.
Yeah, the Joker. But he's sitting there talking about, yeah, look, bring you guys out, we'll booze it up, we'll get a bunch of strippers, it'll be nuts. And I remember just laughing because I was just like, dude, I can't believe, because I remember, even though in finance, traditional finance, TradFi, that happens a lot. Like it legitimately does. Like there are guys who are, they court big investors, and so they take them to these places to make their life very fun, and then at the end these guys get the investments, right? But it's never ever talked about out loud. You don't talk about it, right? You don't sit there and bring this stuff up, and it's not, and I personally was never a part of it. It's not what I was about. But hearing the guy, and this what blew me away on the show, that this guy was talking about it, and I was sitting there going like, I can't believe they're talking about this out in front of everybody. And I was laughing, and then somebody had a friend of mine, she's a girl, and she goes, I can't believe you were a part of that. You were laughing and being a part. I said, no, this is nuts. This is not traditional fight. I mean, this is, you don't you don't do that. And these guys it was just nuts. And the guy, there you go, his community.
The first summer I worked in New York City, I didn't work on the floor of the Commodities Exchange in 4 World Trade Center. I worked down in Battery Park at the E.F. Hutton building down there, on the tip of Manhattan. Mm-hmm. At the time, it was the southernmost building in Battery Park, and I had a window that overlooked the Eiffel Tower, the other French gift, the Statue of Liberty, and all this type of stuff. It was really good. The next year, I moved up, and I did a lot of mostly backroom stuff, running around, errands, slave boy type stuff. The next year, I went and I worked on the floor of the Commodities Exchange, and on my very first day, the guy that I commuted with down to where I lived in New Jersey said, hey, my dad's friend, or somebody, an older, I was 18. This guy was 19. He said, these guys are getting in a limo after work and going somewhere in Midtown to have a beer. And he said, I have to go up there anyway to drop some stuff off at our office up there, which I knew we had an office in Midtown. He said, you want to go, and then we'll catch the train from Penn Station instead of Newark. I said, sure, I'll go with you. We got in this limo, Pedro. It's the 80s, so think Michael J. Fox movies and stuff like that with 8 limos. Limo pulls up. The window rolls down. The dude's like, I can't remember my buddy's name. Jeff. Whatever his name is. My buddy Jeff. He says, Jeff, over here. We get in the limo. There's some like woman of the night sitting in the opposite side of the seat. Another dude gets in too, who's another trader. And immediately they pull out the big thing of white powder. And I'm like, at age 18, I was this big. I was 18 and I looked 14. And you could just see the girl of the evening sitting there looking at like, who the F are these young people here in this car? And they're like, and they have this pile of white stuff. I'm like, I'm good. Yeah. And also as interns, we had to take drug tests too. And I don't do that stuff anyway. That's beside the point. But that was my first experience too. Just like you're talking about, them going, we're going to go to Vegas and do that. My first experience was that. I mean, that was messed up, man. I was like,
yeah, but the thing is, it's not talked about openly. And you don't sit there, like you said, you get drug tests. But everybody, if you're a good trader, if you are a producer, you're a good salesman. And you
don't lean so close to the camera again.
Oh, shoot. Yes.
Your head's this big.
Yeah, it's like dynamite. You're like, dude, you're too ugly, bro. Step back. Nah, but like in the same sense, like it's not.
Exactly, Troublesome. Come on in here, boys. You're gonna go far, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so
No,
it's
I'm
one of
scared
those-
shitless. I'm scared shitless, Jesus. Sorry,
Absolutely.
Pedro, to interrupt you.
No, it's
And
fine.
I've never seen that before. I went to a little farm town, stuff like this. Little farm towns in the past were not places of drug use like they are today with fentanyl and all that. They was like, I mean, you may have heard about somebody that had some weed. Like, oh, I heard Jimmy had weed. What? Nobody wasn't anywhere. Now it's a total different story. But sorry to interrupt you, Pedro. Just
Nah, but in the same sense, that them talking about it just kind of showed me the community, and I remember just being like, yeah, I'll go, sure, we'll do it. And I'm sitting there though, and I'm like, I'm never gonna go. These guys are nuts. They're dumb. Like, why? Like you're literally putting yourself out there in a way that's just not okay. And even in TradFi, where you're given copious amount of cocaine, you're given copious amount of just whatever you want. It's if you are a producer, whether that's a great salesman and you got a great book, or you are a trader and you're really good at it, whatever you want is given to you. The life is, and it's more perks. It's not even, this is important to understand, it's perks. It's not necessarily yours, but what happens is many of these institutions will go out and they pay for it, and and all you gotta do is just ask and it's there, right? Like, or somebody knows somebody, and then all of a sudden that person comes along and that's it. I personally never thought that stuff was okay, just simply because I kind of came from it. My mother was got in trouble and went to jail for heroin. So like personally, I sat there, and I've had, I know how far that rabbit hole goes, and how it can decimate a life. So to me, I've never been into it. Like the most I ever did was smoke weed and maybe do a little shrooms, and that was it. But personally, I never saw the glamour in it, especially when you saw these guys is doing, and the money that is there is just stupid. So I never thought about it. It was cool. So again, jumping back to Richard Hart, or what's his name?
Richard Hart. Richard Schuleman. Richard Schuler.
I literally think he went too far. Like the money, because here's the thing. Once you have $2-3 million sitting in your bank account, your first time, like you think it's always going to be there. You always think that there's going to be no, like, oh, I'm finally made it. And then you go too far, and then all of a sudden, and the other part is you almost think like you're almost like a god in a sense, especially when you come from no money, and all of a sudden now you're flush, and wow, my family is going to be taken care of for as long as I can think of.
Yeah, not until the Finnish government takes it all.
And the government will. They absolutely
Troublesome,
will.
thank you for your Pink Floyd reference. I really enjoy it. I'll take any Pink Floyd reference. Sometimes I miss it. I was sitting there thinking about have a cigar. You're gonna go far, and I'm like, why is it not registering? Of course, the song you typed "Welcome to the Machine," but it's "Have a Cigar." Khalil W. Infinity Swap 42 to the moon. I think the Infinian people win the shill contest today.
Absolutely, this guy's rock, and no joke. They don't play.
Quick news bite here. I know it's a news flash, everyone. None of you knew this. This is breaking news. 90% of meme coins fail. I bet
90?
none of you knew that. 90% of meme coins fail. What's
Only?
the secret to success? Innovative tokenomics, utility beyond hype, and strategic marketing for sustained engagement. If you can believe it. Most meme coins fail. They often capitalize on viral trends and social media buzz to gain rapid traction, and then they take your money and you get wrecked. An exclusive interview with Bee and Crypto, Alvin Khan, CEO of BitGet Wallet, said the primary reason for meme coin failures lies in short-term thinking. Most meme coin developers release a token just to capture the market hype for a short period, weeks, maybe months, My personal thing is it's hours and days. Once the initial hype is over, investors' FOMO wears down, the token's presence almost ceases to exist in the broader crypto market. There is the no shit word of the week, ladies and gentlemen. But this, for instance, Shiba started a simple Dogecoin rival, but has since evolved into a multifaceted project with DeFi integration, staking, Web3 gaming, Bonk, Floki, all this kind of stuff. If you look at top performing tokens this year, such as Bonk, Floki, or SHIB, they all have an extensive ecosystem, yada, yada, yada. All of that means they have a huge, huge, huge community. But I just thought I'd bring that to you to lighten up the talk a little bit here. That I bet none of you knew 90% of... I bet you that's being generous, 97%. It has to be 99.9%. Because I saw a post earlier today, I can't remember where, someone said there was 1 million coin or token-based smart contracts launched recently. I don't know the time period, but I think it was within a very short amount of time. Where is that? It's in my Noster feed. Now, for those of you that don't use Noster as an alternative to Twitter, or the Elon Musk platform, it's not really an alternative. It's a decentralized social media platform, and it's really cool, and it's getting a lot better. If you've used it a couple of months ago and were like, meh, it kind of sucks, it's 1,000 times better. But anyway, let's see where this came back to. We're 20 minutes away from the Fed release thing. Let's just, how about we... Now that's,
check
see,
it
my
another.
system said that this screen was off and your screen was on, but that is obviously not the case.
This is true. For taxes in addition to...
Let's see, there we go. Let's
All
see.
right.
All right. Well, that's the correct. Pedro, in the TG.
Yes, I see it right here. I got it.
Is the sage?
The SU, right?
Yeah, I don't know why it's SU, but it's SU.
I would rather be a SU than an FU. So, you know what I'm saying? Alrighty, here we go. All right. Yeah. I see some really, really big
Mike,
down.
where did you buy that? Hopefully you just bought it now, hoping for a rebound, right? Mike, please tell us that.
Please. I don't even see that. Like, there's just no way.
I just closed the comment section.
Yeah, so like every time he even tries to get above the daily 8, you can see it just gets smashed. Hulk smash. The only thing I can sit there and say, and let me see if I can tell me this is not a god candle. Like, if this is...
I had to restart the comment section. Someone drop a... thanks, Jesus. Should have known that you would right away. Mike, if you're listening... What was going on with that buy?
Yeah, this is the very beginning. So let me see the 5-minute.
Legend Trim in the house. Legend Tim in the house. What's the average basis point move? Wow, that is a great question.
I do not know. I mean, I'm gonna ask that. What is the average? I actually have a AI agent that is a financial, historical, and tax expert. That is just, I love it. It's been helping me out for a while. What is the average tax?
Grok says 0.25 is average.
Point in.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the old timer on here. Legend Tim, how'd you find us, Legend Tim? Appreciate knowing that.
Dude, check this out. This is awesome. The Federal Reserve doesn't have an average basis point in the way you might think. However, there are a few relevant points to consider. Target federal fund rate is typically about 25 basis points. Historical change, typically about 75 basis points over a period. Like, like about 50 basis points or every 75 basis points during times of economic stress or high inflation. Market expectations is about 25 basis points of this current situation. Or excuse me, in the current situation, there is a lot of speculation about whether the Fed will cut rates at their next meeting. While the market is anticipating some easing, the exact magnitude of the potential cut remains uncertain. And so they pull this information from the FederalReserve.com, TradingEconomics.com, and Schwab.com.
Legend Tim, welcome to DYOR Live here. It's a live talk show on the DYOR Media Network. We have a bunch of different shows on here, Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked. It's going to be premiering its 4th season whenever I get around to doing that. It's going to be, we also have Crypto Chit Chats from Carmen Crypto, who promised me that she's going to do another episode of that soon to stay relevant. We also have a new podcast coming out with from focusing more on Washington, D.C. called the Crypto Swamp Creature Show. You just heard that first, ladies and gentlemen. I spilled the beans. We're going to have the guys from the Crypto Swamp Creature. And neither Pedro and I are going to be on that show, by the way. Maybe as a guest occasionally, but it's a show by 2 other gentlemen.
Hilarious.
One of which you will recognize. And we're going to be hosting it here on DYOR Media Network. And so, Tim, thanks for joining us. We got a lot going on here. We're live almost every day. Hopefully, with a few more creators coming on board, we'll be live every day. And Tim says, Goldman Sachs, he just anticipate the Federal Reserve will opt for 50 basis points upcoming open market committee meeting, which they have already decided in the meeting will, I believe, release that number at 2 o'clock, right?
Yep. So they said they're going to do it. Here's the thing though, right? Like, imagine if they don't do it. It actually looks super bullish for the economy. Like, that's the part, right? Like, if they sit there and say, you know what, we're not going to change it because we think that the U.S. economy is strong. I mean, even though we all know, like, because we're in literally the swamps with everybody here, and we know like America isn't doing really, really good from a financial standpoint. If they come out and say, nah, we're not going to, I mean, people might sit there and say, well, maybe things aren't as bad, and maybe they might go out and start spending. Then what will happen? Starts to generate the money coming in, and before you know, the economy can start pushing up again. So it's very tricky. It's very tricky.
Tis tricky. I'm putting this.
It's tricky.
It's I knew you were gonna do that, Pedro. I knew you were gonna pop out. It's tricky. Your mind is tricky to rock my mind. It's tricky.
It's tricky. Anyways, all right, enough with my goofballness. All right, so let's check out Sue here. Okay, so obviously with what I've just said, I can't, but where did you get in on this? Because it's
Crypto Mike, are you still with us? And I don't mean heartbeat wise, I mean viewing wise. Let's give him the old maybe he fell asleep and needed that to wake him up. There he is, Crypto Mike. Tell us, where did you get in this if you want to? Legend Tim, where in the world are you coming to us from, if you don't mind?
Yeah,
telling us. He said he found us on the YouTube or something like that, or a post somewhere. Nice. Great, thank you very much. U.S. based, Europe based, Singapore, Australia. Where are you at?
America. Or was it on? Because I went on to Jake Gagan's thing talking about.
Oh yeah, tell us about that, Pedro.
Yeah, so Jake Gagan, one thing I like about him is he actually interacts with a lot of the people who watch him. So I kind of watch him silently. He talks about a lot of meme coins. And a lot of people come and shill on his project. So I'll go through and I'll look at to see what's actually happening. Same thing with not Crypto Lifer, the other guy, guy from London.
Rand,
yeah, Rand.
Crypto Banter.
Crypto Banter. Like, I'll watch their shows.
South Africa, but we'll give you that.
Oh, dude, forgive me, South Africa, bro. If I ever meet you, my bad. You'd be like, bro, what's up with that? I'm like, yeah, I'm ignorant. I'm sorry about that.
Sweden. All right. Thank you very much for joining us from Sweden. We were just making fun of the Finnish here
Yes, we were.
a little bit ago because
Oh,
of Richard Hart from Hex and Pulse Chain. You probably missed that one, but they want another couple €100 million from him for tax money.
yeah.
Thanks for joining us from Sweden. We really appreciate it.
Well,
We had a exchange student from Sweden when I lived in Cincinnati, Ohio. Her name was Henriette. Now her and her husband run like some huge underwear and the undershirt company or something like that. They do a great job.
oh wow.
Right from Sweden.
So these guys have been here for about 3 months, right? And I don't like it looks. Is there any fundamental news that are coming out here that is pertinent to here? Because unless they're coming out with something that, their devs are really building something, I don't see anything here. I just see it continuing down. Your only area that you could potentially see a mark point where it comes in is at this lower level here. You literally had a god candle where I think it did it almost 100x. Was it 100x right here? Yeah, did 100x. So
Sage Universe is all about changing lives, building community, and helping each other reach their goals. At Sage Universe, we believe in the power of coming together and making real, meaningful change. As we take your money for our exit liquidity.
yeah, well, it literally looks like it was a fair launch, right? It was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and what is the liquidity of? Oh yeah, man, look, it got big, dude. I mean, 2.9 mil down, and this is where it sits right now at 0.2 or 0.002, and it got all the way up to uh 10 cents. Yeah, dude. Dude, it went to, looks like it was 100x, 10x, 100x. It was
The question is,
100x.
what did the liquidity go to, and how much did they take out? I mean, did it go to 10 million, or did it just go to 10,000? Did 100x to 10,000? Then it's not such a big deal.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I'm looking at that right now, dude. They actually had decent liquidity. If you look at liquidity, it was $240,000 in liquidity. The average volume traded is about $21,000. So, like, that's a fairly decent amount
Yeah,
for.
they got shit moving through there.
Yeah, they do. It's,
And
it's
they said,
legit.
"Thank you very much." They tickled
Well,
Mike's
we don't know.
cojones. Said,
We don't know that, and we don't know that. So I want to backtrack on that. You need to have something fundamental that really get this thing pumping running. It looks like I said, we're look at this right here. We have this. We have the 20 period moving average playing in accordance with. So it's got to have a hard barrier. You've got three primary things. You got your monthly moving average, whereas you can't see it yet. But once the 8 period moving average, if you guys don't pop up here, then it's you're gonna have a lot of struggle even just getting above it. Once that monthly moving average comes in, your weekly, you got that 8 period, and it's a steep angle, man. This thing's gonna punch you in the face and kick you in the junk. So you got that you're fighting with. And then you got a lot of supply here as well. I mean, you got supply here, you got supply here, you got supply here. You got supply here. You literally have supply all the way up until 0.2. So these areas here is pull up a chart. What's new gonna do? What's news gonna
"Oh,
do?
looks they delayed it to 2:30 p.m. Rats."
Okay. So
Well, let's see if they release the numbers at 2 and then have their press conference at 2:30 to justify it. Let's see if.
yeah, we'll see
Let's see
what's
if
up.
that's
And we can go here real quick.
Oops, that was the wrong button. Sorry, Space.
Space, the final frontier. Let me pull it up here real quick. Come on, brain. There it is. Investing.com. All right, so we're 4 minutes out right now. Yeah, so it looks like this hasn't been changed. Yeah, so they're going to be reporting the numbers and then push back this.
What time does that say for it?
4 minutes.
All right, let me bring up the old BidFi chart on. For those of you that don't know, you haven't heard me talk about it enough.
Give me a second. I'm going to pull up some here real quick. Come on. There we go, yeah. All right, boom. And we're going to take this up here. All right, hit live. This is the FOMC press conference for today. Here you can see, and this is happening in 4 minutes. So
it said the press conference is going to happen at 2:30.
Right, but I'm just going to kind of keep this on to see what's up here real quick. No, I do not want to do this.
For those of you that are in Sweden, thanks for joining us at this
absolutely
after work hour. And wherever else in the world you're watching us from. Dara, if you're watching from Madrid, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Tim, I've got the Bitcoin futures chart up right now. And we've got 3 minutes until the Fed does its thing here. See what happens. But for those of you watching that aren't familiar with what the Federal Reserve does, I know the whole world talks about it because people like Tether earn so much money off it. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, no, the show is not going to go till 2:30. We'll see. We've got 2 minutes and 40 seconds left here before the size of the rate cut comes. In the poll that we had earlier, most of you said 25% cut, 40% of you said 25% cut, and 1% of you said a whole point.
It's crazy, dude. If we had a whole entire point, dude, it would decouple the bond system. I mean, literally, it would just be like, we're done. People are done. We're done. We're leaving. Peace, deuces. Bond traders would be like, done with this. It would, unless
Legend Tim says, what news gonna do to the futures NQ market? I don't know what the NQ market means.
Oh, I very much. Yep, absolutely. Let's check it out here real quick. I have a boy in mind. He trades the NQ, and I look at him just simply because you got to know what's up, right? Come on, here we go. I honestly think if the rates go down, and then NQ should go up, right? That's what we should see, right? Because that means they don't have to pay as much money to loans. This is what we're seeing here. So
what is it? Is it one of the many NASDAQ tracker things with Qs, or?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the futures. It's the futures.
Oh, it's the futures NASDAQ. I got you.
Yeah. All right, so this is it right here. So boom, we could actually pop it right here. So you can see we're consolidating right here. So boom, I think if I'm looking at this right now, if we're going to come down, this is going to be nuts. So this is where we should see. Pop this here real quick. Potentially come down to that 19.5 area. I would expect we're going to come down and see a bounce off of this because we have that giant. Here we go. Let's play this out here. What's up? It's about to get nuts. So
I'm going to flip it back to my screen. The BidFi screen, if you're not playing the Central Exchange Perpetuals game, you need to do it with this QR code right below us. If you guys want free money, you should get free money by signing up for BidFi here. We're running a campaign right now. Deposit 100 USDT, get 100 USDT free to trade with. You don't get to withdraw that immediately. That would obviously be a scam. But you can withdraw any profits that you make from it.
Let's see if we can
and not only that, it benefits us by the usual affiliate commission style thing. It helps us get the edutainment to you. And we've had only, I think, about 10 people sign up for us. Crypto Lifers had 10,000 people. Whoa! Did you see that candle fly back and forth? The market. What's the number here, Pedro? Market's pumping.
Yeah, so
must have been 50.
Let's play off this. So we expected to go. This thing should be moving. Oh, this is freaking. This pisses me off. I forgot this is delayed because they. Please do. Let's check out BTC here real quick. BTC. Yeah, boom, explosion. Boom, here we go.
This question is when should we short this? That's the question.
Yeah, so let me pull it up here real quick. Boom. Let's play.
All right, as you can see, the You're right, Chuck. There was the dip and then the boom. So the exchanges came in, cleared out a bunch of the longs by people that had high leverage, 50 and 100x trades in there with, their stop real close to the market. And the exchanges cleared them out, boom, by dropping the market and then by pumping the market. Look at this. We're up 1,000 points already in BTC.
Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right, so I'm looking for this level up in this level because we should cut through this area here. This has already been traded through. So I'm expecting this now to push up either into the 62,342 and or the 62, like in this level, or the 63. So you want to play off of, come on. Come and tap this and this level here where that monthly 8 is sitting.
They sure did flush some people before ripping it. Absolutely.
What they do, man. That's what they do.
It's what they do, and it should be expected. If you've got a high leverage trade on, they're going to try. If they can move the market to clear you out, they're going to do it. They're going to do it.
It's how they work. It's how they do. I mean, you're dealing with the company. You're dealing with people who have unlimited
if you're doing a 100x trade and you've got $5 on it, they're not going to worry about it. But if you've got 100K in there and you've got that levered up too, they're definitely going to take your money.
100K.
Legend Tim says BTC goes up, but the futures Nasdaq goes down.
Oh, that is nuts. Let's check it out here. I can't see it. I want to pull up my other charts, but I don't want to.
Kimchi Man, thanks for joining the show today. Really appreciate it. You're late, but not too late. You just joined the action here, watching the market. One of my lights is about to fall. Nope. Although my light is good. The weird lights today makes me. I don't have that red look, but now I have an orange look today. Kind of look like the Orange Man. Let's bring the chart back here. BidFi. If you had gone long on BidFi, you would be up a lot here. Oh, lots of sell wicks up there, Pedro.
I'm looking at it right now. Shoot, wrong one.
On the minute chart, supply wicks are pushing it, holding it down. Oh, here we go. People are taking the profits. Can we see you take a real trade here with some cash on the line? We do that periodically. Pedro is I'll just explain it, a different trader than a lot of the guys you see. A lot of the guys you see look at it and say, oh, there's a flag, there's a head and shoulders, there's a Bart Simpson going on or something like that. What Pedro does, and what he's teaching me to do, is to go in and see where the orders are historically. Because wherever the orders are and the liquidity is, that's where the price is going. And so he very rarely takes a trade right now. He almost always trades. It does depend. It does depend.
Depends on the market.
Right. And most of the time, it's a trade that's good, that it sets up. And it's it looks like this is gonna go up to this level. When it gets to this level, sell. And Pedro's about to go through that.
All right, so
Pedro very rarely uses the word Fibonacci.
Yeah, I don't use Fibonacci.
Rarely.
I use 3 primary things. I use volume, I use moving averages, and I use zones. My zones that I use are primarily based off of supply and demand for how Online Trading Academy taught it, but I have changed it up quite a bit, but it gives you that understanding if you're familiar with trading. And then my moving average I use as just simple moving averages. So right now, I also use wicks. Wicks are really important to me because they communicate real buyers and sellers at current moment in time. So for example, if I see a big ass wick like this, that means there are a bunch of sellers sitting right here pushing the market down. If I see market going up into a seller wick area, it means most likely that it is going to go down. So if I see it go up first, that means they're tricking you to go long to push it down. So if I was wanting to do, I would sit there and go short around this level here and try to gauge it. This is really important as well. I use moving averages. Moving averages communicate to me directional pulls. So you can see here we have the 400 period moving average sitting in our zone right here, and having this would basically indicate to me that it could potentially go down. So it's not one way or another. I use the current market through.
I'll be right back, Pedro.
All right, through wicks to let me know where buyers and sellers are coming in, so I can take part in the trend as it moves. That's it in a nutshell. Does that make sense? And boom. How do I do my own media? Bam. I'm a little bit late. Can we see you take a real trade? Legendary temp. Yeah. So right now, do wicks communicate sentiment of the candle? Yes, it can. It's not so clear cut and dry. And the reason why I say this is based off of the sentiment, right? So example, if fundamentals are, the way I look at it is this: if they want to push the market up, right, they're first going to drop the market. Because the way the market works is that every buyer needs a seller and every seller needs a buyer, as well as I know we also have market makers and automatic market makers now that are interchangeable, especially in crypto, right? But key is it still plays in the fundamental way, is that they're first going to lose money a little, then to make money in the beginning or to make money in the end, right? And they're going to bring you in to push you down. As example, they first put the market up, right? So they brought you in long. So everybody's like, yeah, we're gonna go long, whoop whoop. But what happens is they then use higher time from SMAs to then drop the market and or zones. So I'm giving you in a very broad sense of how I see the market. So yes, sentiment of the market can be pushed based off of wicks in relationship to the time frames in which we're seeing it move, because the market, I've talked about this multiple times here on our show, that the market itself, it's all segmented. You have a 24-hour trading period. In that 24-hour trading period, a higher time from SMA, etc., or exact, got it, or like bullish or bearish. Yes, yeah, exactly. Sorry about that, bro. I'm watching. Higher time frame. Boom. I actually have this set up just a little bit different today. I'm gonna move this up here so I don't look like a weirdo here. Here we go. Might be just easier for me. Okay. Yeah.
Chuck just says I no longer trade Fed Day. You can get wiped out real fast.
Yeah. So you can see here right now, right? So we're coming in. The wick here was the sentiment of sellers coming in, right? So we hit the higher time from SMA, and now we're starting to see a sell off. Now, it's really important to understand Fed Day is one of the biggest days there is in the economy, okay? And as a trader, you have all of the institutions trading this. And so when I say they are looking to move and demolish the market, it's all based off that level. So when I mean demolish the market, I mean the novices. They're here to take your money. Right? This is the day that they have the right to take your money, that the U.S. government goes, okay, they're idiots, they shouldn't be in it, right? It's basically sharks going after a blood-infested water, right? Like, they're just gonna eat, and they're running around with their mouth open, right? You know, it's like that. So that's what we're actually seeing.
There's usually one a month, Tim. If there's problems in the economy, they definitely have them every month. They can have them sooner than that on an emergency basis. But the Fed can raise rates and lower them whenever they want, which they used to do. They used to just change it
and it wasn't
not make a big deal about it. But in the past 10 years, they decided, because of the rise of CNBC.
Yeah.
TV coverage and all that.
And I think also, most people want to get in the market, so it's like just like a horrible accident. And I did turn off my camera for a second, because the market, they need buyers, they need sellers, right? And so I think they've realized, wait, the more we actually go through and we publicize this, the more people want to play this market, which actually helps the actual the many of the banks make money. And who runs the Fed? The banks of America. JP Morgan being the primary head boss there. And who's the CEO of the Fed? Or who's the CEO, excuse me, not the Fed, but really the Fed. I mean, I'm joking around, but I'm not joking around. I'm serious, but not serious, but serious. Jamie Dimon. There you go.
You know, to make sure you're clear about that, the Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C. is a chartered bank by Congress. Chartered by Congress to do its thing. The member banks, the regional Federal Reserves, New York, Kansas City, St. Louis, Chicago, San Francisco, all those types of stuff, those are the ones owned by the banks in their districts. But the main Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C. is not owned by them.
No.
Chuck says, crazy movement here, candle all the way back down to where we started. Like I said in the body of the description today, or in the TG thing, it's the market has priced things in anyway. You know, all the institutional traders. There was no institutional traders trading here on this announcement. It was all degens. Some of the degens were fairly large.
No, I would disagree with you 100%. Sorry.
The institutional. I mean, they're the options guys. They might be trading just the markets for the various stuff, but they've already figured out the market's going to go up, or it was going to be 0.5%, and they've got it priced in most of their trades. But every investment house has its short-term trading desks and things like that, who respond to their, degen customers in house, which may be a $10 million fund of some sort, something like that. I'm not saying those guys aren't doing it. I'm just saying that the people that were trading today weren't interested in the economy. They were just interested in volatility.
Okay, so yes and no. Yes and no. All right, so over the past week, we've seen the market pushing up. Right, you can see here on Bitcoin, pushed up, boom, then pushed back up. Okay, I feel, this is me, that they're definitely in it. So they're the ones who push it up first to drop it. So it all depends. Bitcoin and how it trades. Also, by the way, there you go. Bitcoin, right, is still a asset that they don't have enough of. So if they can be tricking in all these guys, right, that are now being bought, they're putting their shorts in all right here. So you can see here that now they've established the final. You saw the amount of volume coming in, right? Pushing this up to get the rest of the people in, and now I think we should be dropping it at least down to these lower levels here, which is at that 57,000, 56,000 area as we continue to go down. Legend Tim, someone out there is making money off these moves. Retail traders, I mean, no. I mean, unless when you say retail traders, what do you mean retail traders? Eat my shorts. Jesus, the Lord and Savior. I love that. What do you mean by retail traders making money? I would say, if from a retail trader standpoint, I'm a retail trader, right? But I've been at this for a number of years, and I've traded Fed Day multiple times in my lifetime, and I've made money. Now, I bring this up because this is really super important to pay attention to. I've been at this for almost 20 years, though. Like someone trading their own bank account. Okay, yeah, I respect. If they've been at this for a long period of time, but the majority, I would say 89% of retail traders get demolished. Not other people, other people's OP, other people's money, not other people's money, but yeah. I can potentially, yeah, I could see that. Um, you know, they've got to be big traders, right? So we're gonna sit there and see that. Like we've taught, it's trying to like. So right now, what it's trying to do is figure out, right, where the retail traders wanting to go. Retail traders, if they're going short, they're going to go long. If retails are going to go long, they're going to go short because institutions always need orders. So whatever the primary flow orders are coming in from retail, they take the opposite end because that's the exit liquidity that is being brought into the market. Does that make sense? And so they'll push it up to drop it. See, look right here. What's happening here? This right here, they're pushing the market up. There's no demand wick. Okay, that demand wick means that the supply wick is being created first. So they're pushing the market up to bring it back down. Fed eases 0.5%. And they said they were going to be about that month. I thought they were going to kind of fake out the market and try to keep it down. So bigger sell wick than buy wicks. Exactly. So supply, yes. More supply, what do we see? The market drop, right? But what happens is, as the market is dropping, even though green candles, depends. So it depends, right? I can't go into this part here. And the reason why I say I can't go into this part is because of my trading coach. I respect him immensely. And I've talked about this now on the show a couple times. I respect the guy immensely. And he's asked me not to go into too much detail in this. It's a group of us that trade. And I'm not going to go into that. But the fact that it is a green candle, I would have to go through other time frames to give me a strong indication of what's actually happening here. But yes, it can mean something. But I have to look through other time frames to really let me know what's actually happening in the current market. I'm sorry I can't tell you that, but I'm just being honest with you without sitting there and giving too much. On a 5-minute time frame, wouldn't you give some weight to their prior wicks? Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, absolutely. One of the and the other thing part behind it is they just screwed over a ton of people here, this up and down movement. So them coming down to this area again potentially could be them just messing with people. No worries. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Tim. Legendary Tim. Yeah, I just got out of respect for him, and plus he would cut off my balls.
Right, you gotta understand when someone's selling their knowledge for a while. When you take their class, they're like, this is how I make my living. So no,
he does not make his living off of his classes.
Oh, Pedro, I was giving you the free out there.
No, because I want to bring respect. Listen, I'm going to be. I know you're trying to give me the free out, but I'm being honest with you. He does not make his money off his classes. He makes his money off of trading. Out of respect to the style in which I trade, and he has his students and people I really respect, I won't give this information out there on the air. I tell everybody, if you want to go learn from a real trader who will teach you and yell at you and beat you like your redheaded stepchild until you're a good trader, okay, go check him out. He's on Twitter, isn't it? What's it called? Easy Money 2050. And go watch him at first. Watch him trade. He posts all his trades. He's a legit dude. If you take his class, he will yell at you. It's like a real class. You're not sitting there and he will yell at you. He wants you to make real money in the market. He does not hold your hand. He's not going to give you trades. He's going to teach you how to trade. So if it's something that you're really important to and want to look at, go check it out.
Chuck, thank you for the clarification there. We needed that.
Oh, let it back up. Oh, I love it. That's so awesome. That is so good, Chuck.
And the volume is still there from the 2 o'clock time frame. The volume is still there. Pedro, as they say, we're getting long in the tooth, and we've covered what we wanted to today.
Absolutely.
We'll take some last minute questions and comments from the audience, but here by the end of the half hour here, we need to wrap this up because, as they say, the real world is getting in the way and got to make some monies. And as Chuck, let me rephrase that, as Dr. J says, we got to go mine the fiat.
Dr. J, that's such a good name. Dedo Latin, thank you for sharing us over on LinkedIn. Really do appreciate that, brother. Saw that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I haven't even paid attention to the LinkedIn feed today at all.
Oh yeah, I've been kind of checking it out, so it's been actually pretty cool. Miss Jessica Genser, we will connect soon. Speaking to us on here. Do you know who she is?
Nope.
Well, we'll see what happens there. But this market is, like I said, I'm more bearish in this level here, right? And we are finding support here, but we didn't really put much of a demand wick in at this level here. So we put more of a seller wick. So I do expect us to see some type of selling coming in. Key is this, all about volume. So if I start to see volume really coming in, the buyers as we're pushing up, then I got to change my bias here. But right now we're still in this zone of that 61 to 60,000 area. So it's about 1,000 mark area here that we're moving. If as long as we're here, I'm kind of, and I don't know, because it's on, it's not giving me direct communication here. So that's in a nutshell.
I don't know why I can't get the.
What's up,
For those of you watching on LinkedIn, thank you very much for spending your time there watching us on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
My
Thank you
great
so much.
comment machine that I have that generally works really well just does not work well with LinkedIn. Just doesn't play the game well with LinkedIn. As most of you know, LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft, and what Microsoft likes to do is make life difficult for people.
Why, dude? Why do they got to be so difficult?
They like to change menus up. They like to something that's easy that you've done, like I'm going to rename this file. Oh, now there's a special menu in front of it. Hold on one second. Mrs. Striking also complaining about something similar to that, which we were both knocking our heads on earlier, trying to figure something out. But for those of you who also commented, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to pronounce the last name correctly, but Jessica Geisler, Director of Business Development Global something at Spur AI. Keep informing and educating, as Pedro and I like to say. What is it, Pedro? I'll just give you credit for coining the term.
It was you. Look at him shining me up. It was totally you. Edutainment would be the word. Edutainment.
Edutainment. That's right.
Yes. We edutain you guys and help you. Dang, I keep getting too close. All of a sudden, I'm a big fat head. Dude.
All of a
Big
sudden,
fat head, bro.
It's like this. It's a giant head. It's like, whoa.
It's like talking about a bobblehead.
And you're and when I'm looking at my studio software, I see your feed separately, and so it's like the whole 40-inch monitor here, like Pedro's face.
Oh, dude, that's hilarious, bro. You're like, too much, bro. I can see your pimples. Anyways.
Daryl Lawton coming to us a little late in the show, but all the way from Madrid.
Good to have you, brother.
Thanks. He joins our new friend, Legend Tim, coming in from Sweden.
Yeah, dude. I love your questions, Legend. Like, for real.
Yeah, it was good. We had some good
it.
trading questions. Really appreciate it. Not every day do we focus on trading here. If you want to join us Mondays, if we're on the air on Mondays, we generally call it Meme Coin Monday. Tuesdays is Technical Tuesday, in which Pedro goes over as many charts as he can in one day and really hits up a bunch of the trades, sees where they were, and he said, oh, it's going to come up into this range. This is a good time to go short. It's going to go down to this range. It's a good time to go long. Reviews those. And then each of those days, we take a lot of viewer input on charts also. Wednesdays tend to be more wonk days and policy and talking to Pedro and I talking about news and that type of stuff. Thursdays is a free-for-all. And I like to have guests on Thursdays, but we don't have one for this Thursday. And Fridays, we do a Twitter Spaces, or an X Spaces. That type of stuff.
I like your legend. I like the fact that you were telling me, look at the 15-minute, because I noticed it on the 5-minute. So like I said, to me, everything's sequential in the market. So every time there's some type of sequential market turn, I look at to see if a demand wick or a supply wick was created on that time frame. And
Nothing
so
on the 15, right?
Yep, which means we should then see some type of reversal potentially as we come down. So we'll see what happens here. I'm not going to talk too much in detail here, but yeah, we should see it come back down and then kind of find some support coming and hitting that 59.5 area. So as we come back down into this lower level. But yeah, yep. Dude, I think it was a good show today. Tell me, guys.
I think we had a good show too.
Gold to news. This guy's a trader. Whoever this guy is, you playing me over here. This guy's a legit trader. Are you in my little group over there that I don't know about? You messing with me this week? I mean, great show.
People are calling gold to 3,000. You know, all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, I just read an article about China stopped buying gold. They were buying it for 4 months straight, lots of it, and they put a halt on it. Probably means that they were ramping up their internal mining industry, and it took 4 months. So they bought a lot. I mean, it's well known that India has more of the gold smeltering and refining thing. And I don't know the gold industry that well, the actual terminology, but China wants more gold. They're going to get it. They're either going to buy it or they're going to steal it from the earth. It's the only two ways you can get it.
Well, that means everybody's stealing it from the earth.
Well, ultimately, the earth owns everything.
Yeah,
and us organic things are just temporary residents of this great planet we call the Earth. And unless you want to go up to the closest sun, that star that may go supernova, or you go to a little factory in Switzerland that can make gold out of lead, in one molecule at a time.
Which costs twice as much.
Gotta dig it out of the earth. My pinky ring gonna go up in price, Jesus says.
Oh yeah, I thought we were gonna sell off this week. You know, gold. Yeah, you're right. Well, the thing is, everything was waiting. The fact, and the reason why gold is going up is the fact is that they said that they're going to drop interest rates, right? So again, it shows uncertainty in the bond market and in the yield market. So you expect it to then maybe push up, because what is gold is a flight to safety. So the fact that they did drop the rate, that's why gold is moving up, right? Because it's showing that we actually have to drop the rate.
Daryl Lawton says asteroid mining. I'm sure Elon won't be far from that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Mr. Lawton. Dude, we still need to create these guys, little jingles for them. More sound effects. We need to create some jingles for these guys. We got a lot of new guys here.
And ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing the end of the show music here, our Manila Kick Track soundtrack. A free trial with the music you actually do recognize is over, so going back to the good stuff. But when you hear it, you know you got 2 minutes to get your last comments on the screen. Patreon I to BS. Legend Tim says, I'm bullish. Says I was bearish all week. And just like that, it changed his mind, which means Legend Tim is about to get stinking rich, or he's going to lose his shirt in a bad trade.
We should see this thing push up. I could see us getting to potentially 2,700 here in a week or two. And then the way things are moving, right, in the economy, very much could see some things of that nature.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro, thank you for a great show, as always. We'll be with you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. As always, my name is Tom. Oh, Pedro, I forgot you weren't working on this screen. Anyway, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to have hosted another episode of DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. Like, a lot of good stuff coming to you soon enough. Other than us being here tomorrow, we got a new podcast joining the fray here, which hopefully everybody will love. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to have the last comment? Who's it going to be this time? Jesus says, always a great show. See ya. Wouldn't want to be Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Jesus, Legend Tim, everybody else, Pedro. Adios. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys. Have a good one.